What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to basketball, and more importantly, welcome back to another PowerPoint presentation. AVC, what do you have cooked up for us today? Well, today we are doing the top 25 players in the NBA going into the 2025-2026 season, a presentation by AVC. We did a video like this recently on the channel where we took a look at the top 25 players under 25, and because now's the dead point in the NBA season and I want easy engagement, what better way to drive engagement than by really pissing people off and making a ranked list? It's just perfect, right? It's perfect marketing, perfect execution on YouTube by AVC. But no, anyway, I'm going to give you guys my opinion on who I think the top 25 players in the NBA are right now, and I'm just kind of going to take you guys through that, and it should be fun because, again, this is what you do at the dead point in the season. But before we do that, make sure that you guys like, subscribe, and comment. I've responded to every single comment on my YouTube channel up to this point, and I intend to keep on doing so. Got a bunch of other fun videos here right now. We have our top 25 players under 25, like I mentioned. We're going to be doing breakout players. We've made some of our own statistics recently. We got some film sessions. I'm also going to be covering FIBA pretty soon, most likely, because I think that would be kind of a fun thing to take a look at and dive into, because we need something to watch right now, basketball-wise. But with all that being said, let's jump into the rankings. I'm sure it won't piss anyone off. Alrighty, so a little heads up about this list that I went and made. I spent about an hour making it, which is 55 minutes longer than any of you would. I said that in the last video, and so I'm doing it again. There's no actual way to rank basketball players. There's no official ranking to anything. It's just my interpretation of things. This is my forward-looking view of being by the end of this next season, where are people kind of gonna rank, right? That's just kind of what I'm trying to take a look at here. You're not gonna see injured players on here, so Jason Tatum and Tyrese Halliburton probably would have made the list, but they did not because they're not going to play this next year. You're going to see some players that are injured coming into the season, but I think by the end of the year, maybe they'll be back to kind of, or you're going to see the actual ranking as to where I think they'll be by the end of the season. But yeah, feel free, have fun in the comments talking about this one. Let's get into the list, because that's what you guys are here to see. Number 25, Joel Embiid. Gasp, oh my goodness, the former MVP. I don't think many people are surprised to see him here. Hopefully, we get to see Joel Embiid this year. Still kind of in the prime of his career at 31 years old, kind of probably falling out of his prime years, right? The injuries, right? Let's just talk about him. The injuries are scary. I'm guessing that he's going to play at some point this year, and he's still going to be really good, right? Because it's not like Joel Embiid was ever extremely mobile, right? That's never what he was. He's just a physically dominant force with a lot of finesse, right? That's kind of what he does. I'm hoping that he gets back at some point this year and we can see somewhat of still a really dominant basketball player. I have to say, I'm a little bit worried after watching this last season. I'm like, man, he just looked injured, right? He just looked injured the whole time, and he was, right? So I'm hoping he'll get a chance to heal, come back healthy, and really contribute to this team this year. It's getting a little iffy as to when that's going to actually be, but we all know how good of a basketball player Joel Embiid is when he plays, so I was like, I have to put him on the list. I just do, because he's one of the best basketball players when he plays. But even then, I'm thinking if he does get back healthy, it's a little bit risky, right? It's a little bit risky. He's going to need some time to play himself into shape, and again, I still think he'll be a good player, but I feel like maybe best days behind him, unfortunately. Again, hoping that's not the case, but injuries wear him down a little bit. He's more so in just the top 25 conversation now, so be it as it may. By the way, I'll do my honorable mentions and everything at the end of the video to keep you guys in suspense. Moving on, next we have Darius Garland, a guy that I stupidly left off of my top 25 players under 25 video. I knew I'd forget somebody because I rushed through the whole exercise, but Darius Garland, definitely on this list. He is a just statistical masterpiece for the Cleveland Cavaliers, whether it's dishing out assists, scoring points, being efficient with his scoring, right? He just does it really all for you offensively, and despite being one of the smaller guards in the NBA, both in size and stature, not horrible defensively. I believe he's above the 25th percentile even, which normally with small guards, you're just going to have to accept that they're going to be a not as great defensive player because mass is a thing, right? And science exists, but really not a poor defender, and a lot of that is because he's got a lot of really good defensive players around him. But even just playing next to another smaller guard in Donovan Mitchell, they make it happen, man. They make enough happen, but offensively, he's just a wizard. There's no one that can really stay in front of him. One of the best ball handlers we have in the NBA, just dishing it up for people. It was cool to see the growth of all these kind of Cleveland players coming into this last season under Coach Kenny, and I'm excited to see what they can do again because they again have a really, really stacked roster. And I'm curious to see him play off of like Alonzo Ball too, if those two are able to like share the court with health and everything. So yeah, shout out Darius Garland. It was a shame that we missed so much of him in the playoffs this last year just because of like missed. I know he played through some stuff, but like the injuries and everything were really unfortunate. All right, next up, I've got Trae Young, and I know some people are like, really Trae Young here. It's hard, man. I kind of figured Trae Young would be higher on this list for me, but then I don't know, you just start comparing him to some of the other people on the list, and like, shit, I can't really put Trae Young this high on the list. Trae Young does everything you could ask of someone offensively, right? He carries like the entire workload for an offense. The passing's obviously great. The shot making like wasn't actually as great this last year, but the team was kind of in disarray, right? So you want to give him a little bit of slack for that. You can only carry the whole offensive load and be extremely efficient for so long. We've seen him do it in his career, right? He's had those moments. Just last year wasn't necessarily the greatest. We saw a big uptick in his defensive intensity last year, and unfortunately it didn't necessarily show up in terms of like actual results defensively, but you could see the difference, right? Like, he's really trying to fight around screens. He's trying to show at things. Like, he's trying to be involved, and I want to give him a ton of credit for that because I think it's really, really important to note that he was really going out there and giving it his all last year. Again, kind of a weird team. There was a lot of movement of players last season. You lose your second best player in Jalen Johnson at points. Clint Capella gets shut down at a certain point as well. So there was just a lot going on around the scenes. Now, the Hawks had a pretty damn good offseason this last offseason. I thought they did well in the draft. I thought they've done pretty well in free agency. Maybe still some holes to fill in, but another year of Risa Shea. It's been cool to watch him in some of the first couple FIBA games or whatever. Hopefully he can continue to build on that and become a solid player for them. But they've got a very competent roster around him. Potentially the best roster that he's had up to this point. Obviously Porzingis on the team now, but there's going to be a lot more options for him this next year. So I'm excited to see it. Still never going to be anything really defensively. Again, size is a problem. That gives you a lot of credit to like Darius Garland as well. But Trae just carries so much of a team offensively that you can't not really have him on the list, it feels like. But anyway, moving on to number 22, I have Domantas Sabonis at 29 years old now for the Sacramento Kings. Domantas Sabonis feels like a guy that just kind of gets shafted in like all rankings of everything. I don't know, like the fact that he didn't make the all-star team again this last year was astounding. I know the Kings aren't very good in and of itself, but when you look at what Sabonis does, like he scores, he's getting every single rebound out there, like he's playing good defense. I know there's some people out there that are like, if you see he doesn't play, yes he does. He's a good defensive player. He is everywhere he's supposed to be on the court. I promise you he is. Yes, he's not deterring like a ton of shots or blocking a ton of shots, but defensively he is extremely solid, if not pretty top tier with where he needs to be. This guy's just solid all around. You run the whole hub offense through him at points, which given their current team makeup isn't very easy to do anymore, and we'll see with like new coaching kind of how they go about doing that, but all of that while being like efficient just all around. He was a good three-point shooter last year. He was like a 40% three-point shooter. It's incredible, man, all the things that he's able to do. I just feel like he's one of the better centers out there, and I was really hoping that he'd get moved this offseason. It felt like a long shot, but there was part of me that's like, can I please see him on the Golden State Warriors, just because I feel like, oh, he'd fit it so well. He'd fit the system so well, because he's just kind of used to doing hub stuff already, which is what the Golden State Warriors do. So that's what I'd like to see. He's going to be in Sacramento. We'll see if his play kind of drops, just because, again, it's a funky roster. You have to imagine guys are going to be getting moved at points this year. It doesn't lend to necessarily a lot of success around you, but I guess we'll see. I'm a big Sabonis guy. I love watching him play. A lot of times when I meet with like college teams to help kind of install offenses, I've gone to the Kings like past couple seasons or whatever and showed a lot of film of Sabonis and actually helped quite a few college bigs start to play like him. So I think it's a fun guy to watch play if you're a big and want to learn a little bit more about how to command an offense. Anyway, moving on to the next one, 21. I've got Jimmy G Buckets. The G stands for gets, too, for all my Bulls fans out there. Shout out Stacey King. I love Stacey King. Jimmy Butler at age 35 for the Warriors. Yep. Still got him on here. Jimmy Butler, actually one of his like best offensive seasons ever was this last year. Extremely efficient. The defense is starting to become something that's not like top tier anymore, and that feels more so like an effort thing during the regular season rather than anything else. Dude's still a dog. We understand that, right? We still saw some big playoff moments from him last year, even though the Warriors just were kind of depleted after Steph went down. And look, there wasn't much to be done. It really bothered me listening to some of the national conversations about things where they're like, well, Steph Curry's down. They're going to need playoff Jimmy to carry him. I'm like, playoff Jimmy, like with this roster, I'm still not going to happen, y'all. It's just, no, like stop suggesting that kind of stuff. But it's just, they ran into a wall. It was what it was, right? And Jimmy can only do so much. I think he's probably just going to be one of those guys that continues to show up in the playoffs more so than anything else. But there's just too many examples of this guy when the lights get really bright and you just need a dog out there to go get stuff done. Jimmy Butler gets it done, man. I'm, again, excited to see a full season of him with Steph and Draymond. I hope that the rest of the roster stuff can start to figure itself out soon. The Kuminga stuff has now dragged on a bit longer than I think any of us expected to, and honestly, I'm not quite sure what the Kuminga's camp is trying to achieve at this point anyway. And again, Warriors fans, don't be worried that you don't have any other free agents yet. Again, there's like 3 or 4 handshake deals that'll get announced, so they just have to figure out what the Kuminga stuff is first, and that has to be executed on before you can do the other things. But love Jimmy Butler, love everything he does. I still think these guys are title contenders, so yeah, do with that as you will. Moving on to number 20, I've got Jaylen Brown, 28 years old for the Celtics going into this season. This is going to be a big year for Jaylen Brown. Last year, not the most efficient basketball player ever. That guy was also so clearly injured for the whole season, so all the credit and toughness to that guy for gritting through it all. Some of the things I've heard about like the injuries or whatever is like, ooh, like man, dude was fighting through it. So credit to him for being a hard ass, man. That's good shit. But this is his team this year, right? No Jason Tatum. Obviously, he's not alone out there. He's got a Derek White out there to play with, who's another really good basketball player. You have a Peyton Pritchard. Anthony Simons is no slouch. He'll be able to take a lot of scoring off of your shoulders, but they're going to look to you to be the best offensive and defensive player on this team, man. I just feel like they are. Even though Derek White will probably be the best defender on the team, like they're just going to look to you to shut people down, be that go-to scorer at the end of a game. That's what you're going to have to be this year. I've always been curious to see Jaylen Brown be a number one guy, and this year we kind of get to see it. It's been fun to watch the evolution of his game. I know it started off with like, oh, he can't dribble with his left hand and everything, and still wouldn't say he's like an elite ISO scorer by any means, but it's been fun to kind of watch the development of it overall. And I think we all understand the impact that Jaylen Brown can have, and hopefully healthy season ahead of him, things go well. But yeah, this is just going to be a really interesting season for the Boston Celtics in and of itself. Moving right along to number 19, I've got Kyrie Irving here, 33 years old for the Dallas Mavericks. Yep, I know, coming off an injury. I know, if you want to put him lower, you want to put him higher, I don't care. Kyrie Irving's a hooper, right? There's kind of two types of people that I see when I talk about like coaching and stuff. I'm like, there's basketball players and there's hoopers. I'm like, hoopers you can just roll out anywhere and they're just going to do what they do, right? There's no stopping them. Like they are the system type of things. Kyrie Irving's one of those dudes, just a hooper. And I hope and pray that he's going to come back from this injury and be a really, really good basketball player again. But 33 years old, coming off of big injuries, it's scary, right? We might not see him until like halfway through the season. I'd like to think that he's going to really attack this stuff and come back strong and still be agile enough to get around some people. There's obviously some concerns, so would I be surprised if it doesn't look as good? No, right? I try to be a reasonable person, right? But I'm pretty excited. I hope that he can come back and know that there's not like as much pressure on him, because they do have a couple other like players on the team. I mean, hell, D'Angelo Russell's there right now just to like take up some of those point guard minutes. You still have Anthony Davis on the team. Hopefully Cooper Flagg can help you out a decent amount. You've got just a very quality roster around you, so hopefully you don't have to do too much all at once. But I love Kyrie. You guys know like everything else about him, right, and all the talent that he has. I'm just hoping he comes back and is still somewhat who he's supposed to be. So that's why I got Kyrie at 19. Moving on, I wonder how many people have gone and made comments or UVC, I can't believe you. Look in the mirror a little bit. You're commenting upset about the rankings of a top 25 video on YouTube. Go fuck yourself. I just don't care, but also boost my algorithm. go do it, okay? If you want to go be mad in my comments. But anyway, number 18, Pascal Siakam at 31 years old for the Indiana Pacers. I don't think Pascal Siakam is necessarily underappreciated after the NBA Finals run that the Pacers just went on, right? I think we can all agree on that. Maybe he was before, but after you go and make the finals and you're kind of like the best, if not the second best player on the team, I'd like to think people are paying attention now. There's nothing Pascal Siakam really can't do on a basketball court. Let's just even start off with like the side you probably don't appreciate him as much for, but defensively he can switch on to anybody, keep people in front of him. He's agile, his rotations are crisp. It's awesome, right? You can use him in a ton of different defenses. Offensively, he can handle the rock, he can run in transition, can shoot the ball if needed. There's just not much that's really going to stop him. Obviously, the most fun thing is the Pacers like to get out and run. He is lethal in transition. How many times did we just see him leak out and get a quick dunk after a bucket and just completely neutralize somebody's whole possession? It's awesome to see. And Indiana likes to do the whole like drive kick thing until they get an open three-pointer or layup that they want. Every like 6th or 7th possession, they're just going to slow it down, dump it down to Pascal Siakam at either the elbow or like the block and just let him go to work, and there's not really much you can do to stop him because he's got such good footwork, he's got great touch, he can operate out of that mid-range and just go get you a bucket when you need to like get the cobwebs off of stuff, and that's what makes him so awesome. So I love Spicy P. He's got his work cut out for him this year. No Miles Turner now to help him out down there. Also no Tyrese Halliburton for the season. Andrew Nembhard is a worthy guy to try to take some of the load off. Maybe a Ben Mathurin steps up this next year, but it's going to be a tough one for the Pacers. It will be a tough one, but I still expect them to be right up in there for the rest of the mix. Moving on to number 17, I've got Devin Booker, which I had to think about Devin Booker a lot, right? Because I'm like, okay, Phoenix Suns this year. Roster is scary. There is not really a true point guard on the team. It's sounding like Devin Booker is going to be the point guard on the team. Now, if we're to take a step back and be like, where is Devin Booker at his best? None of us are going to say point guard. At least I hope not, right? And that's not because like Devin Booker can't make like the next right pass or go create for himself. He's one of the most prolific scorers we have in basketball, right? There's not much you can do to stop this guy when he gets going. Well, a lot of these guys are like that, right? But Devin Booker is best when he's like coming off of screens and then attacking people and then making like the next right pass or something, kind of being more of that scorer off of action. Like that's where we've seen the best version of Devin Booker. Obviously still an elite talent regardless, and he can still do a lot of those things, but it's just not quite as effective as maybe you'd want it to be. While you have center options now, you have Mark Williams, you've got Maluach, Nick Richards is still on the team. There's some question marks with all of those guys, right? So are you really going to have like ample defense around you on this team? You're having to play with a Jalen Green who's just a lot less consistent than a Kevin Durant is, right? It's nice that you've got some Dylan Brooks and some Royce O'Neals, guys like that on the team, but I don't know. It's a tough group, right? Like, I don't think any of us are predicting that this team even makes the playoffs in a very stacked Western Conference. But just talking about Devin Booker in and of itself, I still expect him to be an awesome player. It's great that they have him locked up going forward. Defensively, it was a pretty rough season for him last year. We've seen Devin Booker be a great defensive player. It's more so something that you actually have to kind of opt into and be like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And maybe they'll be able to do that this year. You just don't know exactly. I just hope that the Suns get some sort of offense put in place because they were just so hard to watch this last year. It was just ISO ball after ISO ball with the three of them between Beal, Booker, and Durant, and I can't imagine they were happy doing that. So I just hope that they can find some ways to be more creative. I hope they can get a true like lead guard here. Nothing against like Colin Gillespie or like Jared Butler or who else do they even have? There's like one more guard if I remember correctly, but you know what I'm saying, right? We need to get him some help and try to remain competitive. But I love Devin Booker, man. I think he's a lot of fun. Moving on to number 16, I got Karl Anthony Towns, and yep, I picked that picture on purpose because when I was looking through images online like a week ago, I was like, yeah, this is Cat right here. This is Cat right here. I tried to find another picture, but I couldn't find it. Anyway, Karl Anthony Towns, New York Knicks, right? One of the better players this last season was in MVP conversations. Offensively, potentially his best season ever. Really, really efficient. He was a huge part of the offense playing off of Brunson. He was a rebounding machine as well. Defensively, Karl Anthony Towns is still Karl Anthony Towns, is what we found. He is horrible at being a pick and roll guy. There's not actually, like, we were looking at this stat on the Discord the other day. Go join the Discord. Link is in the video description so that you can go talk all the hoops you want all day on there. But no, there wasn't a ton of people actually attacking him at the rim this last year. And my theory is because they just had such a good, like, perimeter defense for the most part on the Knicks this last season. But not many people are challenging him despite being a guy that lets up, like, a ton of layups for his size. So defensively, he still has problems. My theory remains true in terms of statistics that if you just have Cat kind of be more of a perimeter defender, things actually go a lot better. He just, for whatever reason, gets confused in pick and rolls and can't guard the rim, even though he's 7 foot and, like, decently athletic. So I don't know, you would think that that'd be enough to be somewhat of a rim deterrent, but he's not. He can't figure it out, so I'm not going to wait for it any longer. This is just who Cat is. But who he is a guy that, man, he can just hit some of the toughest shots in the NBA. Those playoff shots last year where you were just like, oh my God, Karl-Anthony Towns, how are you hitting some of these? He can be an absolute force. He really does have some dog in him when he wants to be, which I know internet people are like, no, like, dude has some swagger to him too. Like when he's hitting some of those shots and he's coming back and his tongue's like hanging out or whatever, like dude does have some dog in him, even though it's a little bit goofy to say the least. But yeah, hard to have Towns this low on the list, honestly, after the season he just had, but I got guys in front of him. I don't actually remember who these people are because I made the list like I said, like a week ago, and for I don't know what kind of mindset I was in at that time, but we're sticking with whatever AVC put on these slides. So let's see who he did. Oh, he put Jalen Williams. This is one of the guys that would have been on our top 25 under 25 list. So there you go. I love J-Dub, man. J-Dub's awesome. He's one of my more fun players to watch. I always feel like whenever the Thunder draft somebody, I always kind of raise an eyebrow and go, huh, interesting. And that's how I felt about Jalen Williams, because I'm like, what do you do with this guy? I couldn't figure him out as a prospect. And now I'm just kind of at the point where if OKC drafts somebody, I'm like, well, they're the next GOAT. What am I supposed to do about it? And Jalen Williams has surprised me with his development so much. Obviously, the ball handling got a lot better this last year. He's debatably the best transition player in the NBA at this point. Defensively, he's a monster, like sneaking up, getting steals, right? Just playing within their system so well. Again, want the half-court offense to continue to improve, even though we won the championship, and it feels like he's kind of going to be an all-star for the foreseeable future. Now you got the confidence, you got the ring on your finger, right? Now guys are coming at you even more now because you got the jewelry, but I also think with that comes a lot more confidence than, again, you probably previously had. So I'm excited to see how he continues to develop because he is still only 24 years old, hasn't even really hit his prime yet. So hopefully we can continue to kind of grow like in a Jaylen Brown type role, right? Where it's, okay, now we have to also be able to really establish ourselves in the half court, right? It's not just beating people with a rip through or something like that. It's like, okay, can I like work and dissect these people to get to my spot on the court and go get a shot if I need to, right? Because can Shea just do it for forever? If healthy, sure, but otherwise we need backup options. So that's my challenge to Jalen Williams, but I think by the end of the season, man, he's going to be in kind of that top 15-ish category. So shout out J-Dub, man, the young gun. Next, another younger guy, Zion Williamson. Again, just talked about him in our, oh no, spoiler alerts, you didn't see that. Don't pause the video because I don't want to make a damn cut. Don't just skip past it. If you go back and watch it, your mom's a hoe and she made me Eggo waffles yesterday. I'm just letting you know. But anyway, we talked about Zion in the top 25 players under 25. This guy debatably, if he plays, probably is top 10, right? But we just don't know the availability of him and where he's going to be when he does play. Man, there's so much to love, right? Obviously, the athleticism is just the base of it. He is a smart defender. He's a versatile defender. He's a smart passer. He can handle the rock. You probably want the ball in Zion's hands more than you've ever allowed the ball to be in his hands, because there is probably some point Zion in there that you should explore, because again, he is a good passer. He creates a lot of pressure and can find people off of like the initial rips throughs. There's so much to like about this guy in terms of like a basketball player. Again, health will be a big concern. I'm hoping we can see him on the court for a good amount of time this year, and hopefully he's not in the courtroom at all. Innocent until proven guilty, right? But we also believe people as well. How do I make sure I politically navigate this without offending too many people? You guys know what I'm saying, right? Like we want to investigate things, but we're not also going to presume guilt. So that's where I stand. Let's scroll before anything else happens. The Pelicans are going to have a weird season, man. We'll see where it goes. Number 13, Kawhi Leonard. Oh, man. Kawhi Leonard. This is a tough one, right? Because again, injuries. When Kawhi Leonard plays, one of the best in basketball. He looked a step slower than I'm used to seeing this last year. But even then, this is where I feel like putting him. Kawhi Leonard apparently was working his ass off this whole summer, right? Making sure he was staying in shape, getting ready to go for the season. Hopefully can be healthy and can be that guy. Why do his shoulders look like this, by the way? Why is he like kind of like a dinosaur? What's going on here? I don't think my shoulders look like that. No, I don't think so, but maybe that's just what true muscle looks like. I don't know. Obviously, Kawhi, when he plays, one of the best players in the NBA. The injuries have been a thing for a while now, but one of those guys that can get to his shot whenever, can be an impact player on both ends of the court. I still say that year with Toronto, I don't think I've seen a player be that extremely dominant on both ends of the court ever, outside of like watching old Michael Jordan stuff. Like, I truly think that that was such a special time in basketball, watching Kawhi on that run. But anyway, we really hope for the health this year. We all know what he does at this point. He's 34 years old. You've watched him enough over your years of basketball, right? Let's hope he stays healthy. That's all I have to say. I'm not going to break it down any further. Moving on to number 12, I got Jalen Brunson. I know, number 12. So I'm curious if some of the people towards like the top of the list, when you're like, wow, this guy's all the way back here, do you kind of keep doing the thing where I did, where I'm like, well, yeah, I have to put this guy above him, right? I don't know. It was kind of hard to do this exercise because you grab certain people and you put them on the list. I'm like, oh, I bet he's going to be around here. And I'm like, nope, got to move him down, got to move him down, got to move him down. A lot of good basketball players out there. We all know what Jalen Brunson's able to do, right? One of the best just pure creators we have in basketball. There's so much offense that he can hold. Defensively is another question, right? He's a smaller guard. There are going to be limitations to things. It's certainly not due to a lack of effort, and we definitely commend him for that, but there's just always things that size are never going to be able to make up for, unfortunately, and that's where his downside is going to be. But the Knicks can still be a good defensive team, even though they have him and Cat. I think there's plenty of schemes where you can adequately hide these guys and put them in situations where it really won't be a big deal whatsoever. And it's nice that you have so many other like kind of versatile players on the team that can play multiple positions. I think that's going to help them a lot. But Jalen Brunson going into this season, this is kind of where I got him. I know he's always going to be higher on like MVP rankings and stuff because he's in New York, and deservedly so. He's an amazing basketball player, but I've only got him at 12. Only got him at 12. So yeah, I'm curious to see who else I had in front of him because I can't even remember who it is. There's the obvious ones, but let's see. Number 11, I've got LeBron James. Okay, this is where I feel like things start to get controversial, maybe in both directions. You're like, EVC, how do you have LeBron above Jalen Brunson? And also the people like, EVC, LeBron's not top 10 anymore. What the fuck, is Bronny at 10? I don't know. That's how I picture internet people. I got LeBron at 11, and it hurt to put him at 11. It really did. Now, I understand he is 40 plus years old now. LeBron's still doing what he's doing, still being that athletic of a guy, right? Still being basketball savant, playmaker, all of that stuff we get, he can still do that. There's like this idea that defensively he wasn't like, yes, he wasn't elite defensively this last year, but I thought LeBron was pretty damn awesome defensively overall this last year. I thought it was one of his better seasons in a long time. When you just kind of like watched all the, first of all, like the Lakers ran so many different defensive schemes this last year. It was really cool to see, like having a coach in JJ Redick actually like really like strategically implement so many different types of defenses last year. It was really fun to watch. But remember that stretch that the Lakers went on where all of a sudden this team with like no good defensive players was putting up like insane defensive numbers? LeBron was a big reason for that. Like his closeouts, his on-ball defense, his help defense, he was just like crisp there all the time. And a big part of that was because they had two other guys that were handling a lot of the ball handling responsibilities. He could put a lot more effort into the defense. So it was there, it was present, it was great to see. So now he's kind of in this like elite kind of all-star role player role for the Lakers that I'm really excited to see. Again, LeBron was the bane of my existence growing up being a Bulls fan, and he just crushed my dreams all the time. Now I just get to sit back and enjoy it, and I hope that we all do the same thing and just enjoy the years that we have left with King James. But yeah, got him at number 11. Moving on, I got Anthony Davis, his former teammate for the Dallas Mavericks. We all understand how good Anthony Davis is, right? Defensive juggernaut when he's out there, ultimate rim defender kind of guy, but extreme versatility, can go out and step up on someone if he needs to. Also offensively, there's nothing that this guy can't really do, right? Whether it's getting to the rim, stepping out and hitting a tough shot, on somebody, making the next right pass or whatever. He gets it, right? He became the player that a lot of us kind of expected him to become when he came into the NBA, if not maybe a little bit more, because he had a lot of hype coming in. It's just injuries, right? Can he stay healthy? With a lot of these guys, that's the question. And obviously, Anthony Davis, it feels like he goes down for a quarter every other game sometimes, or he's getting poked in the eye or something's happening. And as someone who has nagging injuries, hell, I got a back brace on right now. Y'all can't really see it, but your boy tweaked himself because he didn't stretch well enough before one of the semi-pro games. But anyway, it is what it is, right? The nagging injuries are tough. I totally get it. I don't really hold it against him. I've tried everything to make sure I'm healthy at all times too. And even though I don't play anymore, it's well, I play, but not like super serious basketball, right? The injuries still find their way to certain people. It's just kind of how their bodies are put together. It's really hard to find like differentiators for a lot of these guys at this point in the top 10 just because they're all so phenomenal. But I expect Anthony Davis to have a pretty big season. He's going to be the number one guy in Dallas, but he's got a lot of supporting pieces around him. So I'm curious to see how it goes. Number 9. This is the best picture I could find for this, but I got Kevin Durant here. I posted something in the Discord recently. It was a heat map of Kevin Durant this last season. He's literally like on fire from everywhere on the court in high volume all throughout the season. It's incredible. There is no spot that he isn't amazing from on the basketball court. I will continue to say I think Kevin Durant's the best scorer like of all time, and take that as you will. Right? I know Kareem and LeBron are up there, whatever. I just think there's never been anything offensively and scoring wise that this guy can't do, and nobody's really slowed him down. He hasn't had to improve on his game since, I think he was tweeting about this the other day, wasn't he? I love when he goes on his little Twitter sprees, but he was like, look, man, I mastered offense and scoring at 23 years old. Like, it hasn't really changed since. I mean, he's right. It hasn't. Like, his offensive game is the exact same, and he's still giving you like 28 a night on just jumpers. It's insane what he's able to do. Still a quality defensive player at 36 years old, not going to be like elite anymore, but you also shouldn't want him to be because he has to carry so much offensively. He's on a team with a lot of good defensive players now. Maybe not the greatest spacing in the world, so I'll be curious to see kind of how that goes for an aging Kevin Durant. It's not like he's never seen a double team or something like that before, but how are the Şengün's and Amen Thompsons, who are realistically the next best players on the team, who aren't really creators for themselves, going to help Kevin Durant? Obviously, Amen is great without the basketball, and we know that. But you also want him with the ball a little bit more because that's going to be good for his development. So really curious to see how things go. I still think Durant's one of the best to do it. If you have the ball at the end of the game and it's tied, Kevin Durant's on your team, I think you're going to win the game. That's just still how I feel. So shout out KD. Excited to see where they go. Next, I got Donovan Mitchell for the Cleveland Cavaliers. I feel like a lot of Cleveland Cavaliers guys could have made it on this list, but much like Darius Garland, there's just not much that this guy wasn't doing offensively for you, whether it was being a lead ball handler, distributing to everyone, obviously being an elite scorer, just being unstoppable to guard at certain points, actually being a pretty solid defensive player as well, despite not having like the biggest stature or anything. Dude's strong as hell, I can confirm that, but he's a super talent, right? And we got to see some of that like elite scoring and everything in the playoffs where he just takes over games and is putting up like damn near 50 points in them just because he needs to and other guys are injured. Donovan's one of the best we got out there, man, and it is always so fun to watch him play, especially when he gets going. I just really hope the Cleveland Cavaliers can stay healthy going into this season. Yeah, that's really all I got to say about him. Let's try to keep this moving and everything. Number 7, I've got Victor Wembanyama, 21-year-old Victor Wembanyama. Defensively, he's the best, right? He just is, even though stats can't even completely capture everything here because people just don't even attempt to go at the rim when he's on the court at this point, right? We were looking at some of those stats in the Discord as well, where it was like, yeah, Wemby's one of the best at protecting the rim, and he's not even getting that many attempts at it. So it's like, okay, the fact that he gets this many blocks and people aren't even like trying to be near him because they just know it's not possible, that's incredible, right? He's just such a deterrent on that end. It's awesome, right? And we know offensively how much his game is growing, whether it's just him being a lob threat, being a catch and shoot guy, being able to put the ball on the floor a little bit, being an ISO scorer. At just this age, it feels like he's accomplished like so much already. Now there's a lot of room to grow, don't get me wrong, and we're going to be curious to see how he's playing off of Fox and guys like that this year, but obviously a super talent. We feel like it's only a matter of time before he's in the playoffs and really starting to make some noise. Will they make the playoffs this year? I think there'll be a play-in. It feels hard for them to make the playoffs still because they are such a young basketball team, but hopefully they've got enough like solid vets around him this year, and having a couple other bigs on the team will hopefully help him out. But yeah, I just expect continued growth from the generational talent that is Victor Wembanyama. Number 6, still got Steph Curry. Do I really need to explain Steph Curry to you guys? He's still just the ultimate gravity force. It's all the little things with him, because you guys know all the big things. It's the bump off defense that he plays, where he's able to like hide himself with Draymond perfectly and play the passing lanes the exact way that you want. Being a guard that is so good with the basketball, yet he does all of his damage without it. It's awesome. I don't need to explain Steph Curry to you. He's phenomenal. I got him at number 6, and I think he's still going to be great this year. I hope they can put a competent roster around him, Jimmy, and Draymond for this season. Number 5, I got another young man in Anthony Edwards here, coming off of 2 conference finals appearances in a row where he's been the best player. Dude's a dog. Obviously, the jump shot really came together last year. Now he took way too many jump shots this last year, and it really bothered me listening to the national conversation behind it last year, because you got dum-dums on TV being like, oh, he's settling for too many jump shots and this and this. It's like, are you guys actually like watching the game? Like, yes, he is settling for the jump shots. And they're like, just drive to the hoop, be more athletic than other people. God, you guys sound like my mom when I was in like 9-year-old basketball. And she's like, just drive to the room, just drive to the hoop and just go score. I'm like, well, lady, like there's 5 other people that would like to stop me here. And like, look, the Timberwolves offense, complete joke the past couple years. Timberwolves fans sound off about it. This is your chance to complain about it. It is some of the worst to watch. There's just no ball movement whatsoever. Anthony Edwards has to work so hard for everything, and the fact that he was able to at least be competent from 3 last year is what allowed him to be anything offensively at times, because there's just no room for anything. They just don't do anything. It's so weird to me. So hopefully they're bringing in some offense this next year where they can actually get some movement going, get Anthony Edwards some easier shots. Like, you never just even see a play run for Anthony Edwards. It's so weird to me. But really, really excited to continue to watch him grow. Dude's a dog, and yeah, shout out Ant-Man. Moving on, number 4, I got Luka Doncic, specifically skinny Luka right here. This is going up on my wall. It's no, really excited to watch Luka play. Watch some of the FIBA stuff with him in Slovenia or whatever. Yeah, he's in shape this next year. Can't wait to see it. He's able to do everything that he was out of shape. I'm curious to see kind of how he plays, because just because you're like skinnier doesn't mean he's necessarily just going to start dunking on people again. Like, I had a time when I was like a freshman in college, I came in at like 6'5", 220, so I'm like kind of a thick, strong guard, and I was used to kind of going through people. Then I lost like 40 pounds because I exercised so much. I didn't get enough calories in me, and I was just dropping weight like crazy. I did that in like 3 months, and I was really bouncy all of a sudden and really quick, and I started trying to go through people again, and all of a sudden I'm like bouncing off of these dudes, and I was like, wait, what's going on? And now all of a sudden I had to change kind of my move sets, so I was doing more of like the quick agile moves instead of more of the power guard type moves. And then through talking with my weight trainers and like coaches and stuff, they're like, no, we're gonna put some weight back on you. I got back up to like 210 or something. I kind of got back to like that bulkier side, and by the end of my like college days, I was back up to like the 220 and a little bit more bulky again, and that's just what I'm able to do. I'm a thicker guy, so I can kind of get to that point a lot easier. But just because you like get skinnier doesn't mean he's necessarily going to play skinnier right away, right? Like, you have to make those adjustments to your play style and everything. Really curious to see how it goes, but MVP season could be loading for Luka Doncic. Number 3, Giannis. It's still Giannis. I understand the team around him is what it is. He's still an unstoppable force on both ends of the court. I don't think I really need to explain anything else. Despite having a kind of a booty team, and that's no real shots at anyone else. We love Miles Turner. We love Bobby Portis. Who else do we love on this team? Gary Trent's cool. Yeah, that's what I got. I hope Tyler Smith is something. But between that and Doc Rivers, I still think Giannis is one of the best out there, man. I just hope that we can do something about this. I'm worried about this franchise. I can't imagine Giannis sticking around for forever, just because it seems like they've dug themselves such a hole. But I don't know, man. The Lillard stuff was weird. I hope they can figure a way out of it. Giannis is still awesome. And now the question you guys have all been asking: where did I put Shea and Luka? Shea and Jokic. What order did I put them in? I put Shea number 2. and the boy Jokic number 1 right here. It's just what I got. They're interchangeable, man. I just think Jokic has to do so much more for like his team that I don't know. It's not saying that like one is like not good or whatever. Please don't take that as that. They're both phenomenal. They do so much for their team. I just think Jokic, man, like when you take him off of a basketball court, it's just for the Denver Nuggets, man. I like, you even see it in like the FIBA play or whatever. He's not playing with a bunch of other good basketball players, but he's just so impactful that he can make it work. There's so many little things that he does that are just so much fun to watch, and so that's why I got him number 1. But Shai, phenomenal, man. Hopefully another MVP season for him in the coming years or whatever as well. Love watching him play as well, even though he's a foul merchant or whatever. It's just, he's just smarter than you. Don't be mad because people are smarter than you. That just makes you look a little bit dumber. Okay, that's my list right here. You guys want to see my honorable mentions? Here you go. Hopefully you didn't look ahead or whatever. I went through this list and just grabbed people that I thought would be important. Here are my remaining guys that didn't quite make the list. Bam, Cade Cunningham, De'Aaron Fox, E-Mob, James Harden, Jaren Jackson Jr., Julius Randle, Paul George, Tyrese Maxey. I don't know. There are people I considered. Maybe there's better people on here. I don't know, but this is what I ended up doing. So yeah, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. If I missed somebody, I'll be sure to put it in the pinned comment of this video and be like, hey, my bad, I was a dum-dum. I did this and rushed it in an hour, so hopefully I didn't miss anyone. But anyway, let's move on to the comments of the video. Alrighty, I've got a couple comments of the video here coming from our ranking the best big threes for the 2025-2026 NBA season. Man, views are down right now. It is the dead point in the season. So if you're watching this, you're a basketball sweat. Thank you very much. I'm glad I'm not alone here. But anyway, a couple comments of the video. First one here coming from Vessel, Roman numeral gaming, that says, I have nothing of note to say. I'm just here doing honest and simple comments to boost our boy's reputation with the YouTube algorithm. It's a simple job and a thankless job, because I'm not going to thank you, but thank you. No, I'm not going to thank you. Fuck you. No, it's awesome. Great stuff. There was a lot of people that were really appreciative that I went through some of the Excel stuff here, so thank you, Paul Allen and others, for kind of noting this. Trying to think, what was the other one that I wanted to touch on? Let's see. Oh yeah, Brody here had the number 1 big three with an average age of 24, talking about the Thunder, and 14 first-round picks over the next 6 years. Sam Presti, you belong in prison, and I couldn't agree more. Dude is a witch. I don't know how he's doing it, but we can't best him. He's playing us like it's my league or something. But anyway, I appreciate all the comments, especially during the dead point of the year. It is really cool. I feel like I kind of just get to be myself with kind of my core audience here at this time. So it's a lot of fun to go through. If you want to connect with this community even more, go join the Discord. Link is here in the description. We're talking hoops all the time on there, even though it's a more dead point. But seriously, I appreciate you guys as always, and you guys should see a video tomorrow as well. So yeah, look forward to that. Oh, reminder, advertising. Season preview is back September 1st. That's when we're going to start to get consistent uploads again and everything, so just kind of be on the lookout for that. Every single team is going to get a dedicated video before the season starts, and we're going to go into some pretty extreme detail with that, so mark it on your calendar. September 1st, get ready for it. I appreciate you guys as always. We'll talk to you later. Bye.